Kampe. Wow, that was definitely the biggest swallow of whiskey that I've taken on the Discover series, thanks to Kaitlyn.
Speaking of barrique, it was the best single malt whiskey at World Whiskey Awards in 2015.
I bottled my own whiskey, which and this one is going to be saved up for a special occasion. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Discover series with the Whisky Advisor. I'm Uday Balaji. So today we're off to Taiwan and we're going to be discovering all things Kavalan with Global Brand Ambassador Kaitlyn Tsai. Hey Kaitlyn, how are you? It's been quite a while.
Very good. How are you, Uday? Hi everyone. My name is Kaitlyn Tsai and I'm the Global Brand Ambassador at Kavalan Distillery.
Great to have you here, Kaitlyn. It's been quite a while. I can't believe it's been more than a year, yeah? But guys, please like, subscribe, and hit the little bell so you know every time we have a new video on here. On to the most important thing. What do you have in your glass today, Kaitlyn?
Kavalan Classic. It's the first inaugural launch for Kavalan in 2008.
I've got the classic as well, but I've also got the Distillery Select lined up. I've got a little more whiskey in my bottle. Wonderful.
It's so amazing for open up a day. You can use Kavalan Classic as a daily drink.
It's definitely my first drink of the day. It's around lunchtime here, guys. So cheers.
Cheers.
So Kaitlyn, as I was saying, you're the global brand ambassador, but also the global PR officer at Kavalan. Could you tell us more about your work down at Kavalan Whisky?
So in my role, actually, I have to interact with a lot of different people in our team, like our blending team, because these days I will help assess the whiskey in maturation. And also the marketing department, I work for PR and also marketing part, and also the sales representative. So actually before the coronavirus outbreak, I travel internationally, and also I attend a lot of festivals and shows. So maybe I have seen you in some other place in the world. So at the moment, I also engage in the products brainstorming. So I would love to bring more surprises to you in the future with our blending team.
I look forward to that, and I look forward to seeing you in India as well. That's going to be a treat.
I would love to.
So let's do something a little fun to get to know you a little better, Kaitlyn. Are you ready for the rapid fire round?
I'm so nervous, but I'm ready.
No need to be nervous. What is your first whiskey?
My first whiskey is Kavalan Classic. I tasted at the public tasting area in Kavalan.
Okay, lovely. What is your favorite bar in the world?
Kavalan Whiskey Bar. We newly opened last year.
I'm sensing a little bit of bias here from the first two questions. So let's see if that changes as we go by. So what is your favorite food?
My favorite food will be Japanese sushi.
Delicious, delicious. And your favorite sport?
It will be table tennis. I have played a lot during my high school.
So is it cats or dogs for you?
Dogs. I have 2 dogs in my house.
Oh, lovely, lovely. Books or music?
Music. I love playing the piano.
Oh, lovely. Is it beaches or mountains for you?
But the mountains, Yilan, the county where the Kavalan Distillery is based, is backed by 2 main mountains in Taiwan. So I have plenty of time climbing mountains or spend my time in the mountains.
Wonderful. Is it coffee or tea for you?
Tea, especially leaf tea.
Mhm. Batman or Superman?
Superman. I still want to see the world. I can be Superwoman.
Well, maybe I should change that question, you know. All right, just to close out, what is your favorite whiskey memory of all time?
I remember that is my first time to try whiskey leads. It's at Kavalan Distillery. That is also I just I grew up in Yilan, but I'm not very familiar with this distillery in Yilan County. And I still remember the first time I tried Kavalan whiskey, and I'm so surprising its smoothness, and also it's very floral and it's quite aromatic. And at that time, I still think that it's very alcoholic, but I'm so surprised on its taste and also its aromas. So I would say that is my best memory of trying whiskey.
Wonderful,
It
wonderful.
refreshed all my stereotype of spirits. Yeah.
That's good, you know, because we all have these images of whiskey, particularly growing up. And for a lot of people, it's a big surprise when, you know, they drink it and they're like, you know, maybe it is for me. Yeah, so, but coming back to Taiwan, so I visited there a couple of years ago, and one of the best trips of my life, you know. There's so many lovely things, the natural beauty, the people are so nice and so easy to travel around. The food is absolutely sensational, probably my favorite in the world. But what really, really blew me away more than anything else, I heard a little bit about it, but to witness it is something else, is the whiskey culture in Taiwan, you know, fabulous bars with some of the most incredible whiskeys and also at very good prices, you know, and extremely knowledgeable people. But how did this whiskey culture come to be in Taiwan, Kate?
I would say Taiwan has a very strong presence in whiskey. And in 2019, I remember the statistics say that Taiwan ranks fourth globally, just behind only United States, France, and also like Singapore in terms of Scotch whiskey imports by value. So a lot of people in Taiwan actually they have very sophisticated appetite for whiskey. Like have a very abundant knowledge of all types of whiskey. So they will collect like single casks or very rare and limited edition whiskeys. So many consumers in Taiwan, I think Uday has visited Taiwan. You can find many very beautiful bars, well decorated bars, and also they have very knowledgeable bartenders. They will do a lot of experimental various types of infused whiskey cocktails. So you can see like they combine uh, Taiwan tea. You can see like Baozhong tea and a lot of like green tea infused whiskey cocktails and a lot of types. So you can find a lot of spatial creative cocktails in Taiwan and a lot of like restaurant bars and bistros. They also offer a full meal menu together with very fine whiskeys and level to, and also, they also provide whiskey infused um, main course. So you can taste whiskey fried chicken and whiskey like spaghettis and a lot of different type of whiskey food. And also we have a ganbei culture in Taiwan. So a lot of time at the meal, we will say ganbei and we will respect someone and cheer up and button up the glass. So that is also why we consume so great amount of whiskey in just 1 year.
Mhm. It's like you mentioned the bars as well, and I went to some of the most fabulous cocktail bars apart from the whiskey bars. and I can't wait to get back there again. But talking about places to go, you briefly mentioned Yilan and the mountains. So Yilan and the distillery only about an hour away from Taipei, and you drive through some of the longest tunnels I've ever been in my life. And I was lucky to be taken around the distillery by Kaitlyn and Sandra. And what a lovely tour it was. It's a beautiful distillery and huge complex. And one of the things that I did was I bottled my own whiskey, which and this one is going to be saved up for a special occasion to open and savor. But that was a lovely blending experience, and then I proceeded to, and Kaitlyn can bear testament to this, taste about 20-25 whiskeys and ended up shopping at the store and everything. So it was some visit. But Kaitlyn, can you just tell us a little more about the Kavalan distillery, the whiskey, what makes Kavalan, and the King Cow Group as well?
Kavalan is the owner of Yilan County, so we want to show honor our land, and also we are thankful for very pure, sweet, and also very good water, very good quality water with this kind of softness. You can find our whiskey is quite smooth. Actually, it's because of the mellowness of the water it influence our whiskey. And talk about our company, Kavalan actually belongs to the top third beverage company in Taiwan. It's called King Car. So if you look at our cork, you will find there is embosses a classic car logo. On the cork. It's nothing related to car manufacturer. The King Car is one of the very good company in Taiwan producing food and beverage. Maybe you have heard like Mr. Brown Coffee. That is also one of Taiwan's the biggest coffee shops. And also, Kavalan is a quite young distillery. Back in 2005, before that, if you talk to anyone on the street in Taiwan, they won't believe we can build up a distillery, establish a distillery in Taiwan. Especially at that time, subtropical climate is a very difficult task to solve. Like you have to conquer the different climates, and also there was a monopoly system in Taiwan. So actually, our founder, Mr. Titi Lee, he has waited for over 20 years until the law allowed all the private producers in Taiwan can do their alcoholic business. And we spent only 9 months for setting up the first distillery and also the first maturation warehouse. So you can know the Lee family, actually they have waited so long, so they want to produce 100% Taiwanese single malt whiskey right away.
Building a distillery in 9 months, that's, I guess he just didn't want to wait any longer after having waited so long. That's brilliant. But one of the things that I find fascinating with, like you mentioned, subtropical climate, single malts, and I come from India, obviously, and there are the maturation challenges here as well. And each place has its own sort of microclimates, right? So now you're in Yilan County with the snow mountains and your winds and the tropical climate. How does that particular microclimate influence the Kavalan profile? And even like your casks, for example, are particularly special. Could you tell us a little more about that?
Yeah. So as most people know, Taiwan's hot climate it pushes the whiskey in the cask to mature 2 to 3 times faster than colder whiskey making regions. So during just one summer, it can develop our whiskey into a very rich and complex whiskey. So even this one, it's just 4 years, Kavalan Classic. And we combine bourbon cask, sherry cask first fill, and also with some refill cask together. But you can find on the nose, it's very concentrated and also very complex. Like the orchid flower nose is quite special in Taiwan, the kind of flower, and also a lot of subtropical fruitness like mango and pineapple. All this also influenced by the fermentation, the yeast we use. So you can find all this is the DNA, or we can say it's house style of Kavalan, very rich in our entry-level whiskey. And in Yilan County, because it is located in the northeastern part of Taiwan, so it happens to be the first place to receive all the Siberia winds in the winter time. And it is backed by two main mountains in Taiwan, like Central Mountain Range and Snow Mountain. So the cold winds will stay longer and it will maximize the process of oxidation. So in summertime, we make our whiskey more complex and more flavorsome, and also it will be beautiful in the color. And in winter time, the oxidation helps this whiskey more aromatic and also more smooth on the palate. So Kavalan actually you can achieve very complexity and also the depth and the color in this cold and heat influences.
I found that absolutely fascinating because you told me about this when I visited, and you never really think about Siberian winds having an influence on whiskey in Taiwan, So I was absolutely fascinated by that whole dynamic there. But you just told us about the classic, but I've got the Distillery Select here, and you have a huge range, right? You've got your Solist, which is a one so many awards worldwide. Could you just quickly take us through the range and also tell us about which ones are there in India?
Yeah, so Kavalan is quite known for its solo series. It consists of the single cast, for example, like Vino Barrique. It was the best single malt whiskey at World Whiskey Awards in 2015. And we also have like bourbon, sherry, port, and brandy, and also a lot of French wine cask mature limited edition. It's also launching the Soli series. For this Distillery Select series, actually it's quite pleasant in price and also its quality at price. It's so it can so smooth and easy drinking and can be for any beginners in whiskey field. So and like Kavalan Classic, Kavalan series comprised of 40%, 46%. You can find better single malt and also cast finish expressions concept master in this Kavalan series. And in India, we have this series Select, Kavalan Classic, and we are going to bring in like bourbon cask and sherry oak in the near future. So you can find more in India in the future.
And I believe we're bringing the podium as well at some point.
Yeah, podium. Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to trying the sherry finished Kavalan, because the Kavalan sherry finished or sherry matured whiskeys are really my favorites. I remember I think it was the Fino, which I liked the most of all those whiskeys that I tasted at the distillery, which was absolutely spectacular.
It's Jean Swan's favorite one of Kavalan.
Oh, wow. Okay. See, I'm in good company. Wonderful, wonderful. You just made my day by telling me that, Kaitlyn, but you also made all of our days by being here and sharing so many stories about Taiwan's, premier single malt. And I look forward to visiting again and tasting some more of your excellent whiskey. But guys, if you want to know more about Kavalan and you want to reach out to Kaitlyn, as always, I'll put the details down below. So please feel free to reach out and learn more about the whiskey. But Kaitlyn, any parting words for us?
Yeah, the last I would like to do with all of you is doing campaign. I hope you can have a Merry Christmas and very prosperous New Year.
Thank you so much. I poured just a little bit because I knew you were going to say campe. So I was playing it safe. All
Very
right.
safe. Thank
Campe.
you. Bye.
Wow, that was definitely the biggest swallow of whiskey that I've taken on the Discover series, thanks to Kaitlyn.
Thank you.
But guys, please like, subscribe, and hit the little bell so every time we have a new video on here. But until next week, I'm going to say cheers with an empty glass. Cheers.
Cheers.